December 2022, Argentina lifted the World Cup with a tactical system most analysts had written off 2 years earlier. Now, in 2026, the same manager and most of the same core are back. So how exactly does Lionel Scaloni's Argentina actually play? And can the system survive another tournament? Let's break it down on the whiteboard. Here's what most fans miss. Argentina didn't win the World Cup with one formation. They won it by switching between three shapes inside the same match. Tonight we're going to map all three, show you the pressing triggers, the build-up patterns, and the one tactical weakness that every elite coach in 2026 is studying right now. The default Argentina shape is a 4-4-2 diamond. Goalkeeper, Emiliano Martinez. A back four of Molina, Romero, Otamendi or Lisandro Martinez, and Tagliafico. Then the diamond. DePaul on the right, Mac Allister on the left, Enzo Fernandez as the deep-lying number 6, and Messi at the tip, the number 10, playing just behind a front two. Notice what DePaul and Mac Allister do. They're nominally wide midfielders, but they don't hug the touchline. They tuck inside to create central overloads. The width comes from the fullbacks pushing high, Molina especially. This gives Argentina a 5-man central core whenever they have the ball. Look at how Argentina builds out. Enzo Fernandez drops between the two center backs, making it a back three in possession. Both fullbacks push high and become wingbacks. Mac Allister and DePaul become the 8s, and Messi is free, completely free. This shaded zone between the opposing midfield line and their defensive line is the Messi zone. Argentina's entire structure exists to deliver him the ball in this pocket, facing forward, with options around him. Everything else is window dressing. Out of possession, the diamond becomes a 4-1-3-2 mid-block. Argentina doesn't press high constantly. They conserve energy. The trigger is when the opposing center back takes a heavy first touch or plays a square pass. When the ball travels laterally between center backs, both Argentine strikers jump. Mac Allister and DePaul step up to lock down the midfield. Enzo screens. It's not gegenpressing. It's pressing with patience. Against teams that sit deep, Scaloni shifts to a 4-3-3. Messi moves to the right wing. Yes, the right wing. And either Julian Alvarez or Lautaro stays central, with the second forward joining the midfield. This gives Argentina more width and pulls the opposing backline apart. Messi's job in this shape isn't to score. It's to drag the opposing left back so wide that Molina has the entire right channel to run into. Watch any 2022 Argentina match against a deep block, and you'll see this pattern repeated dozens of times. In knockout games against elite opposition, against France in the final, for example, Argentina has shifted to a 3-5-2. 3 center backs, 2 wing backs, 3 central midfielders, 2 strikers. The point of this shape is to neutralize elite wide attackers. Against Mbappe, Argentina used Tagliafico as a hybrid wingback and center back to double up. Expect to see this shape again in 2026 against France, England, or Brazil. Now, every system has a weakness. Here's Argentina's. When the fullbacks push high, especially Molina on the right, there is a gap between Romero and the touchline. Fast wide forwards who can transition quickly will get one-on-one isolation against Romero in space. Saudi Arabia exposed this in the 2022 group stage. Croatia almost did in 2018. France did in the final. The pattern is consistent. Counter fast. Target the space behind Molina. Isolate Romero. If Argentina draws an opponent with raw pace on the wings in 2026, think Vinicius Jr.'s Brazil or Saka's England. This is where the game is won or lost. The Messi question. Messi will be 38 by the time the 2026 World Cup kicks off. He physically cannot do what he did in 2022. So how does Scaloni adapt? 3 things to watch for. First, Messi will play deeper, more like a free 8 than a 10. Second, his minutes will be managed in the group stage to keep him fresh for knockouts. Third, expect Argentina to lean more on Julian Alvarez as the focal point. with Messi as a creator in residence rather than the primary scorer. So that's Argentina's tactical blueprint going into 2026. A diamond by default, a 4-3-3 against low blocks, a 3-5-2 against elite opposition, built around Messi, but no longer dependent on him. The defending champions are still favorites in my book, but the gap is closing. If you want to know which team has the best tactical chance of dethroning them, the next video in this series breaks down France. Subscribe and hit the bell. Which team do you think is most likely to crack Argentina's code? Drop their flag in the comments.